is it magnifies who and what we are today. So, there's 6 things that I consider critical to financial health. I'm going to go through each of those 6, just kind of touch on them, why they're important, and then I'm actually going to open the floor for questions. If you want to ask a question but don't want to ask it in front of everybody, there are sheets on the tables where you can fill it out and we'll grab it. There are other sheets for everybody. I don't know if I got the sheet out correctly. So, number 1, the most important thing to financial health. If you take absolutely nothing away from today, please take this away. Live on less than you make. Now, I know you have heard this before, but I want to go into why this is so important. When you are not living on less than you make, you are filling that monthly gap with 2 things, either debt or savings. When you are continually building up your debt because you are continually negative or continually robbing your savings, eventually you end up at bankruptcy. It could be 2 years. It could be 75, 80 years and you'd be dead by then. But mathematically, if you are not living on less than you make, you can never be wealthy and will get to a point where you can't afford everything. Even if that means you're adding $1,200 a year to your credit card, you will get to that point. It's not easy to live on less than you make, but in order to be financially healthy, it has to happen. Number 2 is have an emergency fund. There's 2 reasons why you want to have an emergency fund. Number 1, emergencies happen. They're called recessions. They are called job loss. Car broke down. Kid broke a leg. They happen. The other reason you want to have an emergency fund is because when you have an emergency fund and you have a stack of cash so that you're not going into debt when you need money, you operate from a different point. Instead of freaking out about getting your car fixed and finding the cheapest place and how am I going to get to work and how am I going to do this, you step back and go, okay, the rental car company's ordered, now I got to find the car company that's going to do the best job the first time, the right way, and you are relaxed about it. That emergency fund takes care of your security. Women need security. Having that money sitting aside will affect you in ways you don't even know. So, emergency funds can be hard to build, but it goes back to what is important. Set aside $5 a month, let it slowly build, it will cover and grow. Number 3, reduce debt. Your number 1 way to create wealth is to take your income and to save it. When you have debt, it's taking your income and giving it to the banks. It is very, very, very difficult to build wealth with debt. On top of that, debt puts you at the mercy of those people that you are borrowing from. And if you don't believe that, all you have to do is look at the housing market. If you get a fabulous job offer, but it requires you to move to New Mexico, and you owe more on your house than it is worth, it is 100% up to the bank if they are going to let you out of that. You don't have the choice unless you have a stack of money to bring to the bank and say, here, I'm going to give you what I owe you because I signed the piece of paper. Instead, they have all the control. And here's the thing. Let's say, I'm just going to walk away from it. They can have it. It was a bad market. It was a bubble. Guess what? That is going to follow you around for the next 10 years. You get to New Mexico, you will not be able to buy a house. When you have debt, you are at the mercy of your borrower, your lenders. So we don't want debt. Get away. Go away. And then the other reason that we don't want debt is debt truly does affect our health. There have been studies that show when you have debt, you have increased stress levels, increased insomnia, increased heart attack, increased digestion issues. You name it, it goes up with debt. There's been psychologists that have studied the effect of different amounts of debt on your stress level. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the scale that tells you like a death is 50 points and that type of thing. Having a mortgage on your home for every 1 year of salary that you have, that you owe the bank, basically, is like taking on a new job.